Okay, we're broadcasting. Let's look at your test. And Melissa, tomorrow, I don't have yours graded yet. I think you're live streaming. And when I faxed you a test, I meant to mark out a couple parts. You wouldn't have to do the trial balance and so forth. Okay, folks, what you're looking at is the Scantron. That's worth 40 points. All right, and part one. All right. First off, let me mention something that's beginning of class. Let's get some things straight. Want all of you to listen to this, please. Carlos, Arthur, I want you to listen to what I have to say. All right. I walked out of class for 5 to 10 minutes last week. I should not have. I thought I could trust you. I know now that I cannot. Okay. There were some of you walking around the classroom while I was gone. There are pictures or a video of who it is and what you were doing. There's a picture of one of you eight looking through the test while I was gone. All right. There's a picture of one of you looking at your cell phone. You had journal entries on your cell phone. Folks, this is not the way we conduct a college class. I'm out of this room, you're supposed to remain seated. Okay? Now, you know who's guilty and you know who's not. I'm not taking any harsh stance, but if you're guilty, please think about counting your second test double. All right? And that way that will straighten out anything that are wrong or that you may have done wrong on the first test. Please think about counting your second test double. Okay? All right, on the multiple choice, there were 2 points apiece. And 2 times 20 is 40. There was 2 or 3 38s, a couple of 36s out of 10. That's not bad. Now that's your grade on part 1. Okay. Now part 2 is here, still to be given to you. Okay. All right, let's look at this test, folks. Okay, now first off, look at number 21. Now, Carlos, you got the answers to that, show them to me because it was the only paper and I could not find the answers to number 21. 21, see if you got answers somewhere to that. Did you not answer that one? No, all right. And that was worth 9 points, so you'll have a -9 somewhere on your test. And that was easy, it's a kind of equation. The rest of them answered it, I think everybody got it correct with one person. All right, number 2A was 29,000. And number 21B was 21,000, I think. And 21C was 22,000. All right, that's 9 points. Any questions? Straight or chain equation. Okay, now the income statement, which was number 24, I think most of you got that okay. That was revenue minus expenses. That's 7180. Now you had to do the statement of owner's equity. Some of you didn't put double lines or dollar marks. I didn't take off at this time. That was 20,700, correct? All right, you had investment of 14,320, net income of 7,180, and withdrawals of 800. Then you had the balance sheet, which many of you missed. On the left side, you only had 5 assets: cash, supplies, accounts receivable, consumer equipment. Total assets was 24,640. Liabilities was accounts payable 1,540, notes payable 3,400. This paper didn't add them, that's okay. And capital was 20,700. Their total was 24,640. Those are 10 points apiece. So that's 30 points. All right. Now, if you look on your test somewhere, look on the front of your test. Front of your test. Sorry, number 1 on the choice. And I have scribbled on there 21 through 27. I have the ones I took off for number 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay. All right. Now 25 was journal entries. It was worth 14 points. Okay, number 25, real quickly. Debit cash, credit capital, debit supplies, credit accounts payable, debit operating expense, credit cash, debit accounts receivable, credit professional fees, debit cash, let's see now, June the 5th, paper I'm looking at got it wrong. Debit for 2 weeks, what that June the 5th entry is.
Debit cash for 4,700, credit fees earned 4,700.
Debit cash, credit fees earned. Fees earned is okay. Professional fees, I put this for this professional fees. All right, then the next was accounts payable, credit cash, debit cash, credit accounts receivable, debit drawn, credit cash. That's 14 points. And most of them get fair on the term entry. Okay, now that left adjusted interest, so let's pay close attention to those. On the adjusted entries, you need those real bad for chapter 4. You'll have them again, you'll have them on the second page. And I only counted these 5 apiece because we didn't do some great on them. So let's look at them. The business pays weekly salaries of 22,000 on Friday. If you divide 22,000 by 5, what do you get? Divide 22,000 by 5, what would you get?
$4,400.
4,400. But journalize the entry at the end of the fiscal, assuming that the fiscal period ends on Tuesday. That'd be 2 times 4,500. 4,400. So your debit salary expense, 8,800, your credit salary payable, 8,800. Now, if we add a day to that, Wednesday, that's 3 times 4,400. Your debit salary expense and credit salary payable, 13,200. Then insurance expense. The balance in the prepaid insurance account It's 18,000. Generalized the adjusted entry, the amount of insurance expired was 5,300. That's your expense, debit insurance expense 53, and credit prepaid 53. And then the amount of insurance expired during the year is 5,300. Amount of unexpired insurance is 27. Well, you'd have to subtract 27 from 18, wouldn't it? That would leave you how much? 15,300. So your debit insurance expense 15,300 and credit prepaid 15,300. Then we get down to right, the last one's depreciation, debit depreciation expense and credit depreciation 32. But the one before that, on July of the current year, business pays $5,400 to the city for license taxes. The same business also required to pay an annual property tax at the end of the year. The estimated amount of the current year's property tax payable for July is $4,800. All right. Generalize the two adjusted entries, bring this up to date. What's the amount of the expense for July? Anybody get all that interest correct? Okay, this person's line, 8 to 10 tax expense, 3 paid taxes, 40-some hundred. We read this carefully. Business also requires that. All right, now debit property tax expense 4,800, credit property tax payable 4,800. That's the portion you owe now. And what is the amount of expense for July? That would be 4,800. Okay. License fee is 54,000. What by 54,000 by 12? $54,000. How much?
4,500.
All right, now that'd be a property tax expense debit and license fees payable credit 4,500. So I may have went easy on that mark. Totally wrong. Okay, now on the paper on the front, this test was worth 103 coins. So 40 on your multiple choice, that left 63. Whatever you missed on this part, I subtracted 63. Now take the grade, like Evan here, it's a good grader, I wouldn't mention 54. So Evan in part 2, take 54 and add it to what you got.
86 and
All right. All right, so go ahead and add those two together, put that part there, add it. All right, record 54 here, Evan, part 2, add them. Now, question, Evan, did you have Cengage all done, chapters 1, 2, 3?
the Navy took the test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have all done now?
Yeah.
Put that on top. Use your name, go.
So 86 plus 5.
Yeah, that's that. Okay. All right, Cengage. You have it all done. I mean, I'll even take it up today, but it should have last week.
I had it done on Friday.
All right, so you can add 5. That gave you how much? All right, here we have a paper that made 99 from the get-go. And he added 5 points, which made 104. Now, you wouldn't want to risk that on the second test, would you? You got double. You have to take the risk on the second test. You have to say if you want to count double. I'm afraid some of us have to count double. That work? Where you make it up? I see it now. All right.
Is it because of the guy doing that?
Well,
Because they had a problem with algae problem.
the way you make that one,
Oh, he thought it was someone else, something else.
she makes your one, it looks like a T. All right?
Because I always had a problem with algae problem. I always did this.
One looks like a T.
Vas-y, ça me fait chier.
Okay, no questions, guys? And, okay, let's see, what you've done. Why couldn't you do
They couldn't pay, so I didn't have access. I didn't have access to change part of my part.
it? Really?
So I did just it too.
You should pay for the county. You've been paying for the county, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't.
They replace it.
I think it's part.
Did you get another one?
No, I mean, it's really well.
I don't know either. I can't count that though. Let's see what you got. I don't have a pen.
Now you check the one.
Don't have a pen? Okay. Now. Here's 44. All right. All three check. Okay, nobody failed the test. I guess there was 3, 4, maybe 8 out of 10. So you did well. Again, somebody might want to think about taking the second test double. I'd feel better about you if you were up walking around or had anything on your cell phone or was flipping through other people's tests on the desk up here. I would feel better about you if you would come to me in private or whatever and tell me you want to count the second test double. All right. I think I was already videotaping. I actually had a student that was so good at cheating one time, they copied the other person's name. That's how good they were. They copied the other person's name. That was in our accounting class, and the student did flunk. I flunked them for the course. And if there's any cheating going on, this point forward, that I can prove that it's cheating, then you will be a 0 for the course, not for the test, but for the course. And cell phones, absolutely, are not permitted from this point on for test taking. You don't have a calculator, you'll have to work it all in. Okay? So we'll have to guard against what happened last week. All right. I had another class, and I was teaching an economics class. I was in auditorium. That's about 50 students in there. And the way that auditorium is stacked, you know how it goes. And I tried to seat students in every other seat. But I gave a pretty long test. Some of it's multiple choice and fill in the blank. But I gave a couple of discussion questions. And this one young man, I could see he was cheating off of this female student in front of him. But how could I prove that? I could call him out on it or whatever. But we got to that discussion question, and female student, but Mr. Lester, I don't have an idea what you are asking on this question. Student behind her that was cheating, is this proof of cheating? He put, I don't either. Isn't that pretty bad? I don't either. Okay. But anyway, in the day of cell phones and so on, it makes cheating easy. Actually, we could take this test. If I got that off of a standardized test bank, you probably can, if it's got a title, for example, question 2 had the Supreme Oxley Act of 2002. You might can type that in, just into an iPhone. It will bring up that question, give you the answer. on the test banks that will do that. So instructors have to guard against you being able to get, and that's the trouble with 100% online class. Students are out there taking a test, they can use computer, cell phones to look up answers. If the instructor uses a standardized test bank. Students can also order these. I had, a couple of young men from Saudi Arabia. All right. And, they had a friend that taught at another university. They took my syllabus, sent it to their friend, and they sent them a test bank for my course. Okay. So different ways that people say it. Anyhow, here is a true story. I went to school with a friend, but he cheated. He would buy practice sets, even if you had to do a counting practice set. One time we did practice sets in the county. And he spent more time trying to find a way to steal a test. Or he'd take the class at night, get the answers from the day class or the questions, so we could look them up. He found all kinds of ways to cheat. All right, he got a degree. And he started teaching in the public school. He got fired the first semester. He had a degree with no knowledge. The last I heard of him, he was working for a graveyard company selling tombstones. That's a true story. So he could not teach because he did not know anything. Okay, now chapter 4. First thing I want you to do in chapter 4 is to copy something for me. Turn to exercise 4-24, I think. 4-24. Exercise 4-24. Maybe in this field. Found it yet? Okay, you on page 213? 212. Page 212, number 24. I want you to copy that problem on your worksheet that I just gave, spreadsheet. Copy the accounts, copy the numbers on this spreadsheet. We'll be using that later in class. Twenty-four. Exercise 24. Page 213. Right. Here. Everybody needs to copy this down. We're going to do this spreadsheet later. That's all. That's illustrating the problem. Found yet? If you're live streaming, I cannot hand you one of these spreadsheets, so you'll have to draw your own. It's that 10-column spreadsheet. There's plenty to view in the appendix. Okay, I think all of you pretty much have that. Hang on to it. We're going to fill that in after the break today. But right now, I want you to look at real quick some PowerPoint items and chapter 4. Now, if you can do this spreadsheet on the next test and the statements that goes with it and the journal entries that goes with it, you're going to make 100 on the next test. And we're going to practice this. We're going to practice on 10 gauge, and hopefully we'll get it. But in this chapter, we have the unadjusted trial balance. That's what you put on your paper just now. Now we're going to add adjustments to it and do an adjusted trial balance later. All right? Just account balance are listed in the unadjusted trial balance. This is a 10-column worksheet or a 10-column spreadsheet. It is not an official accounting document by any means. We don't use it in the real world. It's just to help you learn, finishing up chapter 4 and the accounting cycle for service business. Okay, we put in the adjustments, and we'll do that in a few minutes. And from that, we'll do an adjusted trial balance. And from the adjusted trial balance, we put items on the income statement. Now, most of you all know that you did an income statement on the test. It's revenue minus expenses. That's all it is. And that's what goes on your 10-column worksheet. And then the balance sheet items will also go on your worksheet. That includes drawing. All right. The balances for the accounts that follow appear in the adjusted trial balance, all right, indicate whether each item would flow into the income statement, owner's equity, or balance sheet. Now, where would you put office equipment? Which one of the 3 statements? Balance sheet, income statement, owner's equity. Office equipment. Oh, you got that right on the test.
That's it. So, income statement.
It's an asset. Where do the assets go? Balance sheet. Now you got that. You got that balance sheet right on your test, right? It had office equipment on it. Okay. All right, Evan, utility expense, which statement?
Balance. The income statement, yeah.
Income statement, yeah. Billy, accumulated depreciation equipment. What?
I think that one is adjusted.
It is an adjustment, it's a minus. It's a minus to equipment on what statement? Balance sheet. All right, Eva, where does honor and rent go? Which one of the three statements? What is honor and rent, folks? What is it? Liability. So what statement? Where do liabilities go? They don't go on the income statement, and they don't go on owner's equity, so they have to go where? All right. How about fees earned, author? Yeah.
What is it?
No, they don't go on owner's equity. Pick another one. What? Income statement. Where does drawing go, Carlos? Owner's equity. How about rent revenue? And how about supplies? All right. Throughout this chapter, you'll need to know where to put those things. You need to know for test one. So that's just reviewing, and here's the answers, but okay, the income statement is part directly from the income statement on the 10-column worksheet. And we know what an income statement looks like, or should look like. Now I'm going to ask you from now on, put your double lines, make sure you get your dollar marks in place. So on the next test, if you don't have double lines, minus a point. Okay? If you don't have dollar marks, minus a point. Not for each dollar mark, for all of them. Statement of owner's equity. Again, from this worksheet, we'll get an investment or additional plus net income minus withdrawals gives you ending owner's equity. We have to have that ending owner's equity to do the balance sheet. And we know that assets, now here we have current assets. This is called a classified balance sheet because we have current assets and we have fixed assets, which is property, plant, and equipment. And we have current liabilities, and sometimes we have long-term liabilities, which is over a year. And of course, we use the ending capital from the capital statement. You're going to get to practice these again and again. Current assets are expected to be converted into cash quickly. All these items can be converted to cash. You can sell your supplies and you can cancel your insurance policies or whatever. Notes receivable is a current liability unless it's over a year. Then it's a long-term liability. Property, plant, and equipment are fixed assets. That includes land. But land does not appreciate, but these will all depreciate. Now, all these, 1 year or less, are current liabilities, all of them. More than a year, long-term liabilities. All right. Will these go under a current asset, property, plant, and equipment, a current liability, a long-term liability, or owner's equity. Now you have 5 choices. We'll start with you, author. What's the first one? Where does Jason Corbin Capital go? Which one of the first? Owner's equity. All right. How about number 2, Carlos?
Income statement. I know, balance sheet, but income statement.
Which one of the 5? Now, we're not talking about statements. We're talking about a current asset, a fixed asset, a current liability, a long-term liability. Pick one of those 5.
Current liability.
Which one?
See,
Okay. A note receivable due in 6 months
no, sir.
is a current asset, like an accounts receivable. Notes payable in 10 years? Well, sure, long-term liability. All right, land,
Property,
property, plant, and equipment. And cash,
current asset.
current asset. And unearned rent,
Short-term liability.
all right, it's a liability, short term, 3 months. Accumulated depreciation equipment, Billy, you got the same question as we did a minute ago. Almost. Where does accumulated depreciation go, Billy? Which one of these 5? Which one? It goes under property, plant, and equipment.
I don't understand what that means.
That's a minus. Okay, Millie. Okay. You got yourself, okay, whose computer, yours or Eva's? Eva, you got a cell phone? All right, is that a 9, 7, or 6, or what? It's a 9, 6. You know what you paid for it? 800. All right, she paid 800 for this. Right, take care. Good luck with your test.
Thanks.
All right, she paid 800 for an I-6. Is it worth 800?
Oh, okay, I understand. That's why I didn't understand it at all. That's.
All right. So, anyway, Millie, okay, you've got a piece of equipment here that you paid $800 for. How long have you had that cell phone? 4 years. Well, what if it depreciated 150 a year? 150 plus 150 plus 150 plus 150 accumulated means to add all those years together. That would be 600, wouldn't it? And if we took accumulated depreciation from your cost, the book value would be $200. But you're saying the market value probably is 180, right? So do you see what accumulated depreciation is now? We take that from building and equipment and so forth. Okay, accounts payable, Eva. All right, pick one of the 5. Give me an A, B, C, D, or E. What? Did you give me an E? All right, that one's wrong. Give me another letter. Give me an A, B, C, or D. What? She gave me a C. All right, she's correct. It is a current liability, okay? All right, we're just looking at the same thing, but we are doing the current liabilities and the property, plant, and equipment classified. They're both assets. All right, permanent and real is your accounting equation. If your accounting year ends on December the 31st, you start your accounting period over again on January the 2nd. Do you want some kind of amount in your cash account? Sure. You think General Motors has cash starting January the 2nd? Sure. We have to have assets and owner's equity. It'd be nice to not have liabilities, but most businesses do. So these three are called real accounts or permanent accounts. All right, what's that leading up to? Your other two items, your other three items are called temporary or normal. So that is revenue, expenses, and drawing. You do not want to start out a new year with anything in revenue or anything in expenses or anything in drawing. That's why we need to know all of our expenses for 2018. We start over in 2019. So we got to give these three items a zero balance. Now, what kind of a normal balance does revenue have? What kind of a normal balance? Anybody? All right. Expense has a debit and drawing has a debit. Now, if I want a zero balance in revenue and I've got 100,000 as a credit, I've got a debit revenue for 100,000. These are called closing entries. We've had adjusting entries, but now we want closing entries. Revenue expense balances are transferred to the owner's equity capital and drawing is taken out of owner's equity capital. I want to show you two entries here, not in a T account, but in a journal entry account. All right, we debit our revenue and credit our expenses, okay? And the difference goes into capital. What do you get when you take expenses from revenue? What do you get when you take expenses from revenue? What? How much is that net income right there? 71 what? All right. If we went back and found that income statement that they started off with, what's your answer there? All right. That's why debits have to match credits and your net income makes it match. All right. Then we get rid of drawing. We credit drawing and debit capital. So here we increase capital with income and we decrease capital with drawing. Two closing entries. Anybody can remember two closing entries. So let's look at your book and do one, okay? All right, let's do page 210. Let's do exercise 17. Two entries, just like I've got on the screen. Put them on a blank sheet of paper somewhere, two entries of exercise 17. Hey, Georgia, what you doing? I've got this closing entries. Yeah.
should be. C'est chiant. C'est bon, c'est tout. Ouais, mais.
Okay, give me two journal entries to look similar to what you see on the screen. Find the net income, of course, to put into capital and take the drawing out of capital.
Видишь, вот здесь капитал.
Oh, I saw it. They didn't come yet. Okay, let's look at that one real quick, folks, for sake of time. All right, now, look up. This is typed over or something. It's a mess. But fees earned, debit, wage expense, insurance, rent, or not insurance, but rent, supplies, miscellaneous, and capital. Now, did anybody get down to 144, 150? All right. Now, the heading of the exercise is deceiving. It says a loss. We did not have a loss. We had more revenue than we had expenses, so we had a profit, and that profit we put into capital. All right, and then your debit capital was this drawing 75,000, debit to capital and credit to drawing. So here is the answer to what I wanted you to do. Okay, now you're going to get better at that because we're going to do one more. Closing interest is about the only thing new in this chapter. Now you can do them from information like you have here. You can do them from a spreadsheet. All right.
Why did you write Marlena?
You what?
Why did you write Marlena?
The capital is what you had to fill in. That's your net income. You had to subtract. Your debits have to equal your credit, so you're subtracting expenses from revenue.
What is it in the capital?
All right, because income increases capital. Remember that owner's equity statement? We add net income to capital and we subtract drawing. Now we're doing it official by putting it in the ledger to make the ledger account balance with your statements.
So we should add this to the Marlena Fenton capital.
Right, you add that to the capital. Once you post, it brings her account up to date, and you take 75 out of capital. All right. Now, first off, I want you to turn to page 180 in your textbook, which is Exhibit 20. Now, if you got your laptop computer, see if you can find Exhibit 20. Find it, Miranda? Exhibit 20. Right, does it show? That's cool. That's exercise. Now I want you to see it. Go back to this. Prefix, meaning. Exhibit 20, you find it, Lorenzo. Is that exhibit 20? Huh? Okay, let's see. It's on page 190, but that don't help them. Page 190, yeah, in your textbook, it'll be okay. Let me make sure. It says exhibit 17 to 20. So is that what you got, Miranda? Exhibit 17? That is it. What's it saying? Yeah. Don't find exhibit 20. All right. Okay, everybody's on exhibit 20. Right here. Okay, now what we're going to do after the break, we're going to do what we're going to look at here now. We're going to fill in this spreadsheet. All right, with exercise 24, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, whatever. But on exhibit 20, or 17 to 20, you've got an unadjusted trial balance. We did that in chapter 3. Now look over at page 191, flip a page, see if you can scroll down. Can you scroll down a page down on your computer? Look at the next page. All right, that's the next page? No. They have adjustments on it, right? Can you go down to the next page? All right, can you go down to the next page? Right there, stop. All right. Eva's went down to the next page. All right, if you guys have the next page right there. Now that's adjustments. We made those in chapter 3. You can write them down in journal entry form first, or you can put them on the spreadsheet first. All right, now turn another page. Miranda, if you haven't found this, we're leaving you behind.
Oh, I got it.
All right. Now, William, how do we get that accounts receivable number in the adjustment trial balance?
You would add the unadjusted and the adjustments.
Right. If it's 2 debits, you add 2 debits. If it's 2 credits, you add 2 credits. If it's a debit and a credit, you subtract. That's how you get your unadjusted trial balance. Now look at the next page. What goes on the income statement? Revenue and what? All right, now look at the next page. Everything else goes on the balance sheet. All right, look at your final statement and look how it balances itself. If you have a book, it's page 195. If you're looking for the exhibit, it's exhibit 24. And look how your net income, you gotta add it to your expenses to give you an equal balance. You gotta add that net income to the credit side of your balance sheet, make it better. All right. Let's say that's 40 points on the next page. You get that 40 points? All right, we'll practice that tonight at 6. Okay, now turn to exercise 24 in your book. Exercise 24. All right, you've already got that, copy down, don't you? Right? Okay, now do what it says to do. Go to page 213, look at those little adjustments. Now you had those on the first test. Now what does the first adjustment say there, William?
Fees earned but not yet billed.
Fees earned but not yet billed. What would you debit? If somebody owed you money. Debit accounts receivable. And what would you credit? Fees earned. So go ahead and do that on your worksheet. You don't have all the figures copied down yet. You don't need them. Yeah, but you don't have the number. Yeah, you owe. It's a busy life. All right, find exercise 24. Exercise 24. That's 212. 212.
Yes.
Good, but no, you put in the number. Okay, let's take about a 10-minute break. You know what you need to be working on when we get rid of the break. Okay. Take 10 minutes.
Shoot.
Six videos and there's
Got your book? You're not gonna have time to do what we're doing right here, but, okay, let's look at those 4 adjusted entries, folks, or 5, however how many there was. Exercise 24. It's in the appendix. All right, let's write the adjustments in as we go. Well, I think I must have. Do you still have mine? Yeah, I told mine now. Okay. Now, you can write the adjustments down on the sheet of paper. What I had to do the first part of class was jot this. One just to try to balance things, but you have finished. Okay, let's write these 4 adjustments down. You got those numbers?
Yeah.
Jot it down now. Your buddy is not, he's.
No, he's lazy. He's very lazy. Very lazy.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. They don't have any adjustment. All right. Now, the first adjustment is fees earned. And we've already went over that one. On your worksheet, you debit accounts receivable and credit fees earned. Now, also, if you don't jot these down, you can't finish this. So do the first one, both of them. Debit, accounts receivable, credit fees earned. Carlos won't give you that entry. I know he can jot it down.
Where, what?
William, you show them, take the paper, show them. We're gonna put those 2 numbers. Show them your paper, because they look right to me. Show them your paper, how that looks. So these are all.
Put that under adjustments. Is that going to adjust?
Yeah.
We have to do this. We have to do this. I didn't know.
You made an internal entry, but you just put it on your worksheet. See. All right. Now to see it. Yeah, just.
C'est qui là?
Okay, the second entry, folks, I don't have all 9, you don't either. Okay, so you help Chris, Brent. All right. Okay, supplies on hand, $4. All right, look up there and see how many supplies you had. How many did you have? How many supplies did you have?
8.
Well, 4 from 8's 4. You got the wrong 4, you're still right. So debit supplies expense 4 and credit supplies 4. Debit supplies expense 4 and credit supplies 4. Everybody got that? Hey guys, get serious with it. Alright, credit supplies. But he did not. Credit supplies expense. Alright, and here and where? We're gonna put this. What is that? You gotta have a credit for this. Where's the bill down here? These are. Yeah, credit. You got 2 items. Let's start. Oh. Insurance premium expires.
Okay, and then,
Yes. Okay. You got insurance expense. All right. Now, insurance expense, everybody. Insurance premium is expired, $10. Now, debit your insurance expense down here somewhere and credit prepaid insurance. Debit insurance expense and credit prepaid insurance. We're just making adjusted entries. You see that now? Okay. Appreciation expense, $3. What you debit in milling?
depreciation expense.
Right, and credit what?
And credit, I don't know this word, A.
Accumulated.
Yeah.
You'll get it, okay. And we got one more. Wages accrued but not paid. We owe somebody $1. What do we debit?
Wages expense.
And credit?
Wages payable.
Wages paid. All right, add those up, debit, credit, you should get 231. Get 231, William. Rand, did you get 231 when you added them up? Add up your adjustments, you'll get 31. All right, how about Chris? All right, guys, if you got them all,
31.
you gotta add them up and get 31.
Yes.
Debit and credit, right? All right. Okay. Make sure authorize.
No, you have to write here, 31.
Okay, now to the next two columns, 5 and 6. You gotta combine them. Help the 6. First you have here, 13 makes what?
Everything.
Bring all numbers over to your adjusted trial balance now. Bring all numbers over to, combine all numbers, bring them over to columns 5 and 6. Okay, John, let me get started here. Bring all numbers over here. All right, what is accounts receivable?
90.
90 plus 13 is what? And put that there. And put your cash account. Cash is, plus 0 is 12.
Okay.
Take one line at a time.
Everything on debit?
Well, debit is your debit.
Okay. Oh.
That's supplies.
Debit,
Eight,
credit?
8 minus 4 is what?
4.
4. Keep going down through there. All right. Make sure it's just a call. Look just like this. There's your answer. Do that. Sure.
That's
All in.
So if I have credit here, that would be here, just this one.
Connard, je suis dyslexique. Putain, je suis dyslexique. Ah bah, j'ai la fin là, je voulais
Faut calculer.
Non.
C'est le
laisser comme ça. There's minus.
All right, here's what I want you to do. Here's your answer. Just a drawback, just a drawback. Make sure every one of your numbers looks like these. Make sure they add up.
Oh, we don't need to pay. Oh.
Here's your answer. I didn't tell you. There's your answer.
You can put it for once.
You know, do this. Do no adjustment. This is your answer.
Sorry, I have a question. Why is it? Why is it 12?
That's a 12 on your insurance expense.
The 13 is not here.
Oh,
So fees are.
Where's the insurance expense should have been a debit, should.
I made a mistake.
All right, here is exercise 24 and 25. You can look up here and see exercise 24 and exercise 25, okay? Now, I want you to finish that worksheet. You know what goes on the income statement, and you know what goes on a balance sheet. Finish that worksheet, columns 7, 8, 9, 10. Make sure you've got 31 and make sure you got 517.
We do income statement. Income statement.
Yeah. You know what goes on the income statement? Got the net income yet, Wayne? Where'd you go? 65. Miranda, you have the net income yet?
Yes.
What do you got? 65 seems to be correct. Net income, 65.
N'importe quoi, fils. T'as gagné $13. Ouais, je bosse. Il va prendre l'héritage et après la fin.
Still trying to sort of.
65.
65. Okay.
Very good.
Let's go.
Now, with everything else, the balance sheet column. Assets, liabilities on the debt and drawing, right? All the other balances over the next two columns.
Donc, tu dois connaître le capital. The capital is in debit or credit?
Credit. What is it on your adjusted trial balance?
No, on the balance sheet. Ah, okay.
Yeah, just bring them over, debit, credit, the way you see them.
Accounts payable and asset or liability.
Chris, you finished? Williams finished, Miranda's finished.
Ah, putain. Mais bien sûr, c'est juste.
Okay, I think everybody's getting close. I want you to look at the final answers. All right, you have 10 columns. Now, when you get that adjusted trial balance, that's what we did in chapter 3. You can stop there. You would not have to do the rest of this spreadsheet. But you can take that adjusted trial balance and do all your statements for them and your closing entries. All right. Now, what I want you to do for next week, I'll tell you in a minute. Make sure your adjusted trial balance is 517. Now, some of you are not doing the correct form here at the bottom. If you add the net income to your expenses, you get 213 total. That's just to make it balance. It don't mean much. But that same 65 on the credit side of your balance sheet will give you 369 total. All right, so let's get a corrected worksheet first. Get caught up? All right. Some of you are over about 3 steps ahead of her. Sorry, coach. Okay, good. Looking good. Arthur? Everybody's got it. Good. We'll check out okay. No, you will check it okay. Yeah.
Numbers, so I guess it's okay.
Okay. Now listen. For next week, to turn in, I want you to do the next exercise 26, 27, 28, 29. Now look and see what those exercises are. They go right along with this one. That was 25. Now 26, financial statements. So on plain white paper, do 26. You'll do me an income statement, an equity statement, and a balance sheet from this spreadsheet. Okay, you'll do your adjusted entries, exercise 27. You've already got them on here, right? All you gotta do is jot it down in journal entry form, plain white paper. Then you do exercise 28. That's closing entries. All right, you can do them from here. You do them from the income statement and drawing. So it's exercise 26, 27, and 28 to hand in next week along with your worksheet. Okay, now, if that's going to be one problem on your next test, count at least 80 points, I'd work at it if I were you. I'd work at those statements and those closing entries and those adjusting entries. That'd be about 80% or maybe 90 of your next test. We'll get a few things from chapter 5. All right. Do scene gauge. Try to have it done as soon as possible. Chapter 4, scene gauge. Do what, Miranda?
I think there's a glitch on the very end.
Do what?
I think there's a glitch on the very end. I have 99% of the final question. It says Stacy Tanner has a decrease in 30,000 capital, but you have no additional investment and you have no additional withdrawal. And then I subtracted it from the income.
If you had a negative capital, it means you had a net loss. Don't subtract it from the income, subtract it from his other capital. Subtract that from his beginning capital.
I did that too, but I kept putting like, I tried maybe with withdrawal or something.
That's the only way you can do it. He had in a capital, no additional investment, but he had a negative to his capital account. But now try adding it to his capital account. I don't know what figure they gave you. Did they give you his ending capital or beginning capital?
Well, I would choose.
Show me real quick, the problem. Just try your best on, zinc games. 1 point something hurts you, got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Let me talk about that. Try to encourage you. Just make you nervous.
It's asking for names.
I lost it. I touched something.
It's it was
It's lost. If I can see it, I touch it. You're in. No additional. Just try to eliminate it, you know. Okay, put on the number 3, okay. Stacy Tanner, it's the same one, right? Stacy Tanner. Okay. It's still. has instead decreased 30,000. How much was drawn? Subtract 11,7 from 30. Subtract 11,7 from 30,000. T3. Take.
What?
You have to look at 30,000. It's two things makes capital. That income. Now, it costs, income was 83. It had to be. It's wrong, right? You gotta put a minus in front there. Doesn't put a minus. Okay. Anyway, the last question on Cengage, chapter 4, the answer is a minus 18.3. But read that, Paul, and see how you get it, okay? If net income, if capital decreases, what two things make it decrease? Two things, net income and growth. If capital decreased 50,000, and 10 of that was drawing, you must have had a net loss of 40. So that's what that last little part's showing. Now on Cengage, did you have to do a worksheet, Miranda, like we did in class tonight?
I believe so. I think on one, it was, you have to do the closing entries, you have to do, just one of those.
Yeah, okay, I want you to be able to do all of it, that's why I gave it to you in hard copies. Okay, now let's go back to PowerPoint a few minutes. There's a couple other things in this chapter that we've got to look at. Now, these are ledgers, and we've not fooled a lot with ledgers. We've not fooled a lot with posted because I told you computers could do that. Now, journalize the two entries to close the accounts. All right. Now, look at these items here. I don't care if they're in a row like this. I don't care if they're on the worksheet and the adjusted trial balance. You can do closing entries. You can look at your income statement and do one closing entry, revenue and expenses. You can look at your capital statement, do another closing entry, drawing. Or you can look at that worksheet, the income statement columns, and close them out, or the balance sheet to drawing. Okay. But be ready to do these next week. Debit revenue, credit expenses, the difference is net income. Then debit capital and credit drawing. Now, a credit to capital does what to capital? Increases. Go all the way back to chapter 2 when I told you a credit increases capital and a debit will decrease capital. All the way back to chapter 2. Now, we may have to do a post-closing trial balance. What accounts do you see on a post-closing trial balance? What accounts do you see? You see the accounting equation. You see assets. You see liabilities. And you see owner's equity. Now, what happened to revenue and expenses and drawing? What happened to them, Miranda? We closed them out, didn't we? These are real accounts. That's what's left. Now, this is December 31st. Starting next year, let's say 2019, January 2nd, assuming we don't work on New Year's, this is what you will have in your ledger. Your beginning cash will be that amount. Your beginning liabilities will be that amount. Okay? Or your beginning capital will be a certain amount. Okay, so a post-closing trial balance. Now look at these real quick. Read down through them. Read down through them real quick. Have you studied those? All right, go to page 205 in your book or exercise PE 3A. Exercise PE 3A. All right, how many steps of the accounting cycle do you see up here? Transactions are analyzed, chapter 2. Transactions are posted, chapter 2. An unadjusted trial balance is prepared, chapter 2 and 3. Adjustment data are assembled, that's chapter 3 and chapter 4. An optional end of the year spreadsheet, that's what we just did. Adjusting entries, then do an adjusted trial balance. We did that up here in number 5. Then we did financial statements, then we do a closing entries, then we do a post-closing trial balance. Okay, on that little exercise there, arrange those in order. Exercise PE 4-3A on page 205. Arrange those accounting cycle steps in order. See, we could leave this step out. Okay, Miranda, step 1. What letter is that on that exercise? I don't know. Is it PE 4? Is it PE 5A? Huh? You don't find 5A? Steps in the outside. Fine? I don't know. Is it a bunch of items arranged in order? PE, got the PE. Okay, that? All right. Don't spend all your night looking for that. Some other people have books. So William, what letter is number one? Is there a letter for number one? All right. Which one? Looks like A, don't it? Does it look like A, transactions? Let's say that's A. What is number two? Do you see number two? They are posted. Is that there? No, number two does not exist in those. Number three, unadjusted trial balance. Carlos, can you find out what letter matches that one? 4-5A PE. What letter matches step three, unadjusted trial balance? Well, it looks to me like F matches this pretty perfect, don't it? Does F match that pretty perfect? All right. How about step four there, author? Find the letter that matches it. Adjustment data are assembled and analyzed. I see it right away, author. Do you not see it? What is it? I see C. Do you see C, William? I'm just matching these. All right, how about step five? Can anybody see that? What? D. What D says, an optional end of the year worksheet. All right. How about step six? Adjusting entries or journalized. That's E. If I could get it in there. All right, and an adjusted trial balance is prepared. F. D, E, F are in order. How about financial statements are prepared? Do what? All right, that's another one that they omitted. And how about number 9? G. And then has to be H. That's all we're doing is arranging those in order. All right, now all of you can see this, and all of you can see the steps. In your book, what page are those steps on? In your book, in chapter 4, what page are the steps on? That don't sound right. They're listed toward the end of the chapter. Not in the appendix, I don't think.
They start off 172.
What?
They start off at 172.
132?
177.
What? Just right in here, no. Let's see. Oh, that's put them in bold print, but they don't have them.
They have them like all the way through there.
Oh, they have them all the way through, start. Okay, but is there not just a simple instance? I don't see a sample list. Okay, whatever you're looking at, can you tell me what 2 steps are missing? I told you to memorize those a minute ago. All right, what 2 steps are missing? All right, we got the transaction are analyzed. We got the transactions are posted.
Unadjusted trial balance.
Huh?
Unadjusted trial balance.
All right, there should be one right here, should. And then we do adjustment that are prepared. Okay, what else? There's one more step missing. We know there's a step between these two missing. No, financial statements are there.
Between E and F.
All right, what goes there?
Adjusted trial balance.
The adjusted trial balance. Or we could have put that even in here, but right here. All right. Just trying to get you familiar with the steps in the accounting cycle. Slide 1 of 2. So I don't know how that's showing up to you. It's showing up bad for me. Okay. That's your ledger, debits and credits. Transactions are journalized, I suppose. And transactions has to be posted. Chart of accounts. These are plain old journal entries. It looks like. Here's a journal entry you haven't seen before. Look at that. Look at that journal entry. Whoa, that's a little too big. I'll leave it alone. All right. What's new about that journal entry? What's new?
There's a lot of things.
All right, the owner put other things into the business besides cash. All right, he had another business and he's starting a new business. He's putting his accounts receivable in it, his supplies, his office equipment. So his capital is a total of all those. Okay? Now these journal entries you're familiar with. Why do we have to do adjusting entries? If we did our statements from here, we did our income statement from here, we'd say our revenue is 20, and we'd say our expenses would only be salaries and miscellaneous. What would your net income be if you took those two expenses from your revenue? What would your net income be?
56,750.
What would it be? 19,000 what? All right. Now, if we don't make the adjustments, we would be missing all of these expenses and additional revenue. Our assets would be overstated. So now, the adjusted trial balance, our income statement and net income has changed. So in accrual base of accounting, we have to do adjusting entries to get the correct net income and the correct assets. Two closing entries, once again, post-closing trial balance, once again. Fiscal year is any 12 months. We pay taxes on a calendar year. Do you pay taxes in Serbia, Millie? I know you do in Spain, don't you? You do in France, don't you? All right. Where are calendar year taxpayers? January 1, December 31. But a corporation can have any year they want. The government, our federal government, theirs may end in October. Our West Virginia State, Bluefield State College ends on June the 30th, starts over again July the 1st. Corporations can end March 31st, start April the 1st, or any other month during the year they can start and end. All right, so a fiscal year is called a natural business year, which is a 12-month period cycle. All right, financial history, that's just income statements every year, balance sheets every year. We can convert current assets to cash, but anyway, liquidity, having money to pay your bills, solvency, not going bankrupt. If you don't have the ability to pay your debts, you go bankrupt. That's when your assets is more than your liabilities. So I'll take Millie's 1 and turn it sideways. All right. But here's what Millie's and even sometimes Eva's 1s look like. And that's why about counting Millie's wrong on her test. And Millie's 9 looks like a perfect G. Okay. And I can't make her 7. A lot of you make a 7 the way she makes a 7. 7, something like that. Something. All right. Okay. If I can remember all that at my age, can you all not remember this spreadsheet to do it on a test? Okay? You got young minds. You got more room in that brain than any computer made, and you're not using it. And you're not storing information in it. And you've got unlimited gigs in that brain. Just use it. Now, I told you about working capital, didn't I? Working capital is equal to current assets minus current liabilities. That's ability to pay your debts. And the current ratio, we want that to be more than 2. Current assets over current liabilities. I'm not worried too much about these ratios because we'll have a whole chapter on them later. All right, William, to do working capital for 2019, what would I have to do?
You'd have to take your current assets, subtract.
That's all you do. And to do a current ratio, I'll just call that CR, what do I do?
It's current assets over liabilities.
All right, take your calculator and calculate that. What does that give me?
1.8.
All right, that's not good. A company should be above 2. And here's the spreadsheet again. And what I've already said, we will not do a reverse an entry, but we could reverse a couple of adjusted entries if we wanted to. Some books call that the last step of the accounting cycle, but I'm not worried about those. Well, I don't know what happened. It has nothing to do with what I clicked. Oh, there it is. Whatever happened. Okay, folks, you got plenty of homework to do. You got Cengage to work on. Now, if you want a bonus for this chapter, this is not required. You'd have to draw up your working papers. All right? You'd have to do problem 4-5A. Problem 4-5A for a good bonus on your next test. Now, when you all go to Cengage, all of you been to Cengage? Cengage,
What is the?
4-5A.
Dash, 5,
4-5A.
dash.
All right, when you go to Cengage, do you have any other thing in your menu there, like companion site for students? You bring up Cengage, and do you click on the textbook to bring up your account or what? Okay, start from scratch, Miranda, and show me how you bring up Cengage. So start from scratch, have nothing on there. All right. Go to your what? Okay, now, click and get in Cengage, that's page by page, fine. Okay, stop right there. Now, what does that page show? We have to log in, then when you log in, what's it show? All right, that all? Okay, now, okay. So the resources. There should be a companion site. You don't have to buy anything. Oh, okay. No, I believe you on that. If you have a change, just go Cengage. Type in Cengage companion site for students. See if you can get into that companion site. It has a whole lot of stuff also. It has the PowerPoint in it, everything. Let's try that. Okay. See y'all next week. Be careful, attend your classes. See y'all. Okay. Chris, did I handle that okay?
Yeah.
If that were you, would you be wondering what was going on, or you know what's going on?
I wouldn't carry the weight normally,
You wouldn't?
but,